We woke up. It's another day. Must mean it's time to make another show, Todd.
Another episode of Your Daily Scrum coming to you from our home offices.
Yeah, our distributed team coming together to make a show. You know, that could be maybe I'm giving away part of the topic here. Look at this.
Whoa. Can we do Scrum with distributed teams?
Can we do it? Well, I think the easy answer is yes. Mm-hmm. Todd, what do you think? So I'll throw a premise out there and make sure you agree with it before I just start firing away questions. Mm-hmm. I think it's harder.
It is. I think you're absolutely right. It is harder.
There are challenges here.
Yeah. Communication challenges. To me, one of the big things is us versus them, right? Yep. I can't believe what those people were doing in that time zone. I can't believe what those people were doing over in that. How come we always have to be 6 hours ahead? How come we always have to join 6 hours later? Those kind of things. Is that you see that?
Yeah, there's going to be team agreement stuff like that has to be reworked. I think the tools are different. You know, it used to be if we're sitting together coding something, you know, it could be one keyboard, one monitor, you know, multiple brains. But now I think retooling is important. Mm-hmm. There are actually distributed development environments where you can, as remote teams, mob program and work together and share, you know, screens. And so I think retooling is essential. I think the tools actually become more prominent in this. And there's this urge for the tools to kind of take over the interactions that we have to watch. But yeah, I mean, even the ways that we facilitate meetings and events, right? So you and I have had to become experts in Mural. Mm-hmm. and Zoom breakouts and a lot of different ways. And we can't just conduct the old meetings by showing PowerPoints anymore. We have to have activities and we have to have all these keep people engaged. And I think it's a whole different means of getting together and getting work done together, but it is certainly one that you can work within.
Yeah. You know, this is bringing to mind, Ryan. I feel like what we've gone through the past year with the pandemic has really brought to mind all of the gaps in the ways that we used to communicate, right? Yeah. You know, these interactions where you'd have a meeting and it'd be basically 10 people in a room with 2 people talking. I know, you know, that's one of my big tangents. Finding ways to keep people engaged, finding ways to remove the middleman, right? Information funnels, right? So I think all of these things have naturally existed for distributed teams since distributed teams started being a thing, right? And now I think that it has to be unequivocally yes with distributed teams, because I think a lot of people in a lot of different fields have become distributed teams and proven how well it can work.
Yeah, it's certainly possible to work well here, and it's, you know, like you said, a lot of the gaps. So, you know, we leverage a lot of liberating structures in our events and in our meetings, and we've actually tried to find ways to cut down on meetings. If you notice, Zoom fatigue is a real thing, and so we're trying to make sure that we're only doing the Scrum events, and then we're meeting as needed as we work on creating increments. But we're trying to get everything else off the calendar because people are really sick of being in front of cameras, and it just leads to, I think, the need to, as a team, to sit down and reorganize how they're going to do their work. You know, and the old agreements just don't fit anymore. And I think that's first and foremost. I think an excellent Scrum Master will help a team realize that if we have a team that's following the sun, as you were alluding to in the beginning, so how are we going to work within the time zones, and how do we keep all the teams synchronized, and how do we make sure we're all working towards the same sprint goal, and how do we all still understand the product goal? And I think just those basic things. I think this is a situation, Todd, where I truly believe getting the basics right is going to make all the difference here.
Yeah, and I think that it should naturally be a input into retrospectives fairly regularly. Can I tell a really quick story about a hilarious thing I did with the distributed team one time?
Oh, yeah.
So I was a Scrum Master for a distributed team, and we implemented a couple things because we wanted to keep it human, right? To keep it personal. If you went on a trip, when you got back from the trip after the daily Scrum, you had to show pictures, which is pretty cool. This same team some months later decided, do you remember Pee-wee's Playhouse, this show? Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember Word of the Day?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, this team implemented, and hey, if anybody from this team is watching, please comment, because this was so funny. We have implemented a word of the sprint. And so if you would say that word, everybody would scream at the top of their lungs, just like Pee-wee's Playhouse. And no kidding, someone said, I think the word was like swarm, because I had been saying, everybody, y'all have to swarm on us. And somebody said it during the sprint review with all these stakeholders here, and everybody's going, ah! And they're like, what is the stakeholders like? What is going on with this Scrum team? Like, so I don't know. I think that's just an example. Like, keep it human, involve some humor. Right. Remember that these are people on either side of the time zone, and don't get us versus them.
You know what, Todd? I'll go on a quick rant here. You just reminded me of something that we saw. We saw that the big box consulting firms are telling management to start tracking time that people spend in the tools and time at their desk, at their seat.
I was so mad about this.
And that is like, do not do that. Like that is, and the big box consultant firms should be ashamed of themselves for recommending that.
I saw that at 5 a.m. when I woke up, Ryan, and I was furious.
Yeah. When Todd actually is motivated to tweet, you know something is up.
Fairly irregular.
But that kind of behavior, and maybe that if you have questions about that, ask in the comments. Ask us about distributed teams. Maybe this will become a more prevalent topic in our feed. But yeah, that kind of nonsense of time tracking, especially in distributed teams like this, really, really not helpful.
Nonsensical. Right? The opposite of helpful. Hurtful. It's hurtful.
Maybe we'll get a question in the comments, someone asking why, and maybe we'll expand on that further. But I think we're kind of hitting up on our time box for this one. So can you do Scrum with a distributed team? Absolutely. Are there added challenges to that? Absolutely. But I hope what you've also heard is that there are actually some opportunities here as well. Yeah, right. There's some real opportunities here to actually collaborate, get together, build some great products, and serve the world in interesting ways. So. All right.
That's our wrap.
That is today's episode of Your Daily Scrum. We hope we helped you get a little bit better today, and maybe you have a question for tomorrow. Leave it in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe so that you can see whether or not we've answered your question. We probably have, and you want to get alerted the second we release that video. Check out our socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. They're all at Agile for Humans. And check out the videos we provided below. Perhaps there's another answer lurking out there in our feed that could make your day just a little bit better. But for Todd Miller, I'm Ryan Ripley. This is Your Daily Scrum, and we will see you tomorrow.
Cheers.